Did you always see yourself becoming a YouTuber?
Not really. But I've always done YouTube as a kid with my brother. My brother had a channel and I was kind of helping him out with it. And
Hmm.
I always thought he would become the YouTuber and I would help him out. And then it kind of turned into, over time, I started getting more and more into like videography and like filming for fun. And it just kind of like accidentally worked. So I never saw myself becoming like having my own channel and becoming as big as I am today. Um, I did always see myself getting involved in YouTube in some way though. Not necessarily how it is right now.
He went to school for film and then he works in media now. So
Yep.
that's at least he's still stuck with, like the media
Yeah.
route. So that's
He's
cool.
he's a little bit different. Like it seems like what he wants to do for film. He's always wanted to do YouTube, but it seems like he wants to get more into like film, like actual film. He's a very creative person. I mean, we both are, but like he's really out there. He's very big into storytelling, and YouTube's not really known for something like that. Well, depends, but like he's more into like fictional kind of storytelling, books or movies, TV shows. He's always wanted to get into that, and that's why he went to film school. But it's a very hard field, and YouTube just kind of worked out better for him too. Right now, he does like commercials and stuff, so it's not that exciting. But he's making his way. You know, he's trying to work his way up.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I'm different. I don't want to get into anything like that. I just want to make YouTube videos. That's it.
Describe your content in 3 words.
I would say creative, funny, and then nerdy. Like
Okay.
geeky. So like there's a lot of nerdy like gaming stuff that I do, but I mean that's my shtick. You know, I do a lot of gaming stuff. So nerdy is definitely big. But yeah, it's supposed to be like comedy, funny, entertaining. And then on top of that, what was the last one? It was a creative. So like everything's like I try to make sure every video is very different from the last one. I mean, I do like series kind of videos, but every series I try to make it feel very different. So the idea is supposed to be like unique.
Did you start posting on TikTok or YouTube?
Yeah, so I started on TikTok.
Yeah.
Um, but I only started in hopes to make it on YouTube because YouTube at the time didn't have shorts, it only had long form. And I tried that. Well, I mean, I technically did try YouTube first before I did TikTok. It's kind of hard to explain. I started like a gaming channel where I was playing games and it didn't work at all. I was making gameplay videos of me playing horror games and stuff, and every video only got like 2 or 3 views, and all those views were from me, and they never did well. So I just deleted it, got rid of all those videos. Then I went over to TikTok and tried shorts and skits, and that worked immediately right away. I only did TikTok because I wanted to get into short form because I thought it was like a good opportunity for someone new getting into content creation. Because it was kind of like it was very raw, like short form content. It wasn't as big back then as it is today. I mean, it was still big, but it was a lot easier to get into shorts on TikTok. So I started growing on that. And then once I hit like a certain number of followers on TikTok, I'm like, I'm going to try to start now transitioning over. And by that time, the YouTube Shorts was in beta. They were like testing it out as stories. It wasn't even as YouTube Shorts. So I started copying pasting my shorts onto YouTube and they just started to work right away. And after that started to work, I pretty much gave up on TikTok and I focused all on YouTube. And after that, that's when I started to blow up on YouTube and it worked.
I remember seeing Greg's content in like 2021. I'm like, I don't even like game. Like, what is this video referencing?
Yeah, and like you don't even understand the joke. You're like, what's even funny about this? Yeah. Yeah, you really do have to be a gamer to understand the content that I make.
Them are funny sometimes when I understand them. So
My parents say the same thing. They always watch it and they'll be like, I don't really understand it, but I'll still watch it. So, and they're not gamers either. My grandmother even watched me, and she's not a gamer, so.
Aw, that's sweet. You were doing like the customization, like loadout videos,
Yeah.
and that gained a lot of traction. And then from there, you started doing like the tutorials on YouTube for like what is it called? Like the Connects?
The Connects, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while ago, yeah. So the Call of Duty customization videos were like what got me started. Like I posted the first one on TikTok, and the first day I got like 1 million views. And people seemed to really like it, so I just kept doing it. Until I completely milked it dry, and it got to the point where I can't even make another video with it anymore because I don't even know what to do. Like everyone keeps asking about it. People ask me to make more videos, but I'm like, I've already made over 50 of them. I don't know how to make it unique anymore. Like it's gone stale. If you like it, go back and watch the old ones. Watch the ones that you haven't seen yet. I've always thought about remaking the popular, like the best ones, but I also don't want to rebuild them all over again. And the tutorials is how I try to get a head start on YouTube. So I was making those videos on TikTok, and I made like a couple of TikToks saying, if you want to see how I built this, go to my YouTube channel. So I try to promote the YouTube channel that way. And the first couple, I think I only did like 4 or 5 of the tutorials, but they all did very well. And they gave me all those subscribers from the people from TikTok. And, then I got to a point where I can't do it anymore. So I'm like, what should I, work on next? So I started getting to other Call of Duty kind of skits. And then I got tired of doing Call of Duty skits. So then I got into just gaming skits. So yeah, it definitely gave me a head start, but it's definitely not, it's not my channel anymore. That's in the past.
Viewers and subscribers should expect that. Like, creators aren't gonna like keep doing the same content. It has to evolve over time. The connects, I've never seen those. Like I've never seen anyone else have those. Where did you get them?
I've had them since I was a kid. I don't know how old you are. I'm 28. I don't look like it, but I am kind of old. They were big when I was a kid, back when they had like the roller coaster sets. So I had a ton of those. My parents bought me a ton of roller coasters, and I just had all the pieces left over time. And when I moved out of my parents' place into my first apartment, my parents said, now that you moved out, we don't want your old kid stuff anymore. It's up to you to either sell it, get rid of it, or, keep it for yourself. So they gave me all the boxes, and I just had them in like piled up in my room. And it kind of worked out because I used all those pieces to build all the guns.
I was like 10 years old or something when you graduated high school, I think.
Crazy thing, my 10-year anniversary the 10 year just came up last month.
Do you guys have like reunions for high school?
Our high school was pretty small, and the people that were supposed to set it up like don't really live in the area anymore. I stayed, but that's only because I came back. Like, I originally was living I went to school at Penn State, and then I came back to Virginia, and I was living in Virginia for so long, and like I said, I started YouTube, and that was the only reason why I moved back to Maryland, because I love where I live, or I love where I grew up, and I've always wanted to move back, but the jobs were, like for engineering, when I was an engineer, weren't that good out here. All the jobs were in Virginia. So when I started YouTube, I was like, I can kind of live anywhere, and I might as well pick the place I want to live, so I came back here.
You weren't a fan of like Virginia when you lived here, right?
No, it was very like stale, corporate. It's like, it's very gray. It was just very boring out there. Well, I mean, it wasn't boring. It was fun. Like, as being in my early 20s, it was fun being out there. But I don't know. It just it always gave me like a weird feeling. Like it felt like I was living where I worked. Like it definitely had like a very big work culture. There's like Northern Virginia has like a very big like work corporate culture that I didn't like. Whereas where I live here, this is more like family, relaxed and everything. And I prefer something like that.
There's some debate about which counties are part of the DMV. So I'm like, why not just include all the counties? Like, you're including Northern Virginia and DC, but then like Maryland, you're like picking and choosing counties.
I mean, I always just assumed it would be like, DC, Maryland, Virginia. That's what I would assume. Wherever you are in Maryland, you're always an hour away from DC. Like, Maryland's pretty small. So if you're that close to DC, you might as well just consider yourself part of that. If you're on like the east side of like Harper's Ferry, then like you're 100% part of the DMV.
You did like a hiking vlog or something in Harper's Ferry?
That was a long time ago. That? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was with my dad. I forgot about that. That was a very long time ago. Yeah, I just posted like a hike, kind of like a vlog thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember how that did. It was kind of like I went hiking, and at that time I was like, I wanted to just. If I'm doing something, I might as well record it because it's my job. So if I'm not recording something, I feel like I'm wasting my time.
Are you into hiking? Have you ever been to Great Falls?
I have been, yeah. I'm not that much into hiking, but I've been pretty much everywhere in the area.
Did you like Great Falls?
Yeah, I mean, all hiking's kind of the same to me. Like, I don't really have a sense for it. It just you walk up and then walk back down. It's just like the view is the only thing different. Also, like I very much like the view that you get at Harper's Ferry because you get the town and then it's like the intersection between like all the 3 states. So
If you're in the DMV area, you guys should visit these places.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of like fan interactions in Maryland?
Yeah, it's like it's not every time I go out. Because especially in the area that I live, like I said, it's a little bit more family oriented, and a lot of the families that do live here, their kids have already moved out or they're too old. So I don't really get it recognized that often, but if there's a group of kids like at I don't know, like Starbucks or something, like at least one of them will recognize me. You know, anywhere between the age of like 8 to 16, like they will recognize me. And actually I just went on a trip to LA this weekend, and the flight on the way, some kid recognized me on the plane because I had the aisle seat and the person next to me had to go to the bathroom, so I got up, and as I got up I like turned around and like faced the back of the plane, and then when I sat back down I noticed like the dad rushed over to me and asked me if I was a YouTuber. So then I said yes, and he got his son and we took a picture, and I was like it was kind of awkward because you're in a plane, everyone's like so tight together, and it was so quiet. So when I was speaking, I speak loudly, so when I speak, like everyone looked at me, and it was the most awkward thing ever. But it was all right. You know, amusement parks are probably the worst. Every time we go to amusement park, it's like every 10 minutes I'll get recognized. You know, it's not to the point where like I can still go out in public and not have to worry about it. But it's definitely gotten to the point where I think about it every time I go out now.
People probably don't expect you to be in like Maryland of all places.
No, you're right. So I got recognized at Chipotle like a couple weeks ago by some teenager. I think it was like 17 or so. He was like almost out of high school, and he was saying he goes to Urbana and everything. He's like, he's like, your face, I couldn't quite recognize your face immediately, but once you spoke, I knew it was you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he got like he asked me that same like he asked me like why am I in Maryland? He's like, most YouTubers not in Maryland. I never would think like why would you even be here? And I told him like, yeah, I grew up here. I love this area, and I'm not for that like LA lifestyle. I'm more like a quiet person. Like I don't want to be out there like in LA doing like partying all the time and all that stuff. Like I don't need that. Like I just want to be able to relax, have a house, and film my content whenever I need to and stuff like that. I'm a slow paced lifestyle. I'm not fast and always doing stuff. So
I was watching Greg's old videos, and I saw the Maryland flag, and I was like, why does this YouTuber have a Maryland flag?
that Maryland flag I used to have in like every video. So I got a lot of comments about that. Be like, why do you have a Maryland flag? Are you even from Maryland? And if you know, you're from Virginia, so you might know this, but if you know anyone from Maryland, like Marylanders for some reason take a lot of pride in their state.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like it's not as big as like how Texans take pride in Texas. Like it's not as much as that. Like we're not as bad, but Marylanders definitely take a lot of pride, and it's almost weird sometimes. You always see us like dumping Old Bay on everything we cook. You know, we wear the Maryland flag everywhere. We love lacrosse for some reason. It's like the most. I even played lacrosse. I didn't even like the sport. I played it because everyone played it. Old Bay, lacrosse, crabs. Like we embrace it so much.
There's literally a 400-pound glass crab at BWI, right?
Yes. I took a picture with it. Yeah. It's kind of like in a weird spot. Like you won't really find it unless you're looking for it. But they lost my luggage one time, so I had to go back to pick it up, and it's really close to like the lost luggage area.
Oh.
So I went over I accidentally stumbled across it. I'm like, why is this even here? It's like a giant glass blue crab. So I took a picture of it and made a joke out of it. It's like, this is the final boss or whatever to get my luggage back. Yeah, because it looks like something out of like a game, like out of Dark Souls or something. But that's what I mean. Like Maryland is so weird about that.
They're serious about their blue crabs. It's funny.
Hey, blue crabs are good, and honestly, they are better than lobster. It's just you have to work harder for it. Like crab meat tastes better than lobster, but lobster meat's easier to get. Like it's just the tail. Whereas crab is like you'll spend more time, you know, cracking open the crabs than eating the crabs.
When's the last time you had crab?
I mean, I had crab cake like 3 weeks ago, I'd say, but I haven't like actually broken open a crab recently.
Are you sure you're a Marylander?
Yeah, I can't remember the last time. Yeah, a lot of people No, I have crab cake a lot though. Like anytime it's like available and it's not like overly expensive at a restaurant, like I take advantage of that. I always like one of my favorite meals is like good crab cakes.
Your lacrosse stick, you use it sometimes in your skits.
I use it as a walking stick at this point. Like anytime I have an old man, I like use it as a I mean, it fits. So, but both those sticks that I have are like ripped completely. So now I'm just like they're just props at this point. But yeah, I've got a lot of props, especially being like a skit creator. I make like a new prop for a new skit and I don't get rid of it. I just keep it because I'm like, I might need it for something else. So I have a whole room in my house just dedicated to props. And it's like, it's the room I film in. But you don't really see it when I'm recording because I'm good at like hiding it. But the sides of the room are just like piles and piles of junk. Like not even interesting stuff. It's just junk.
Weren't you building Angry Birds slingshot? I think I saw one day on your story.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the style of content I'm trying to get into. I'm trying to get out of the skits because I'm kind of, it's like the Call of Duty customization videos we talked about. I have milked it dry and I'm starting to feel it. Like I'm starting to feel burnt out from it. And it's just starting to get like dry. So I'm trying to like, you know, I don't want to say change my channel, but I'm trying to evolve my channel to get into like bigger, better content. And some of the content that I want to do is like larger scale productions, me building stuff and like, you know, using stuff like that. So that the first video that I'm trying to make for that style of content is an Angry Birds video. And I made a 6 foot tall slingshot, all from scratch. Like I just figured it out. I was able to build it. And the other day for my story of probably what you saw was me testing it with my friends. Basically that idea is like, it's literally Angry Birds in real life. Like that's pretty much the whole premise of the video. We got the 6 foot tall slingshot and then I'm gonna have 3 of my friends be the contestants or like the people, like the players for the game. And I'm kind of just hosting it, but my job is also to build the levels and see if they can beat the levels. So I'm going to build them like fake levels. We're going to get a bunch of cardboard boxes. I'll stack them on top of each other, put like the little pigs from the game on top of the boxes. Just like the game, they got like 3 shots to like knock over the pigs off the boxes or just hit the pigs. And if they can complete all the levels, then they win. I got not a script, but a game plan on how I want the video to go. And then, yeah, that video is going to be huge, high production. I got like 2 cameramen, a GoPro camera, I got a drone camera, and then 3 tripod cameras. So that's, I don't even know, like 7 cameras for this video. Hopefully by the end of next year, you know, by the end of like 2025, I'll be like fully invested into that content. Like doing that like, you know, twice or 3 times a month. And maybe even make it like higher scale. One of the videos that I'm trying to make is like Mario Party. Like get a warehouse, make like a whole game board, get like 15 mini games, have all my friends play the mini games, play it. Like it's like literally playing Mario Party. But a lot of like YouTube, it's not just like doing that. It's a lot of aesthetics too. So you got to get a lot of props, a lot of like, you know, it's a lot of the look of the video. So you can't just make it feel like Mario Party, it's also got to look like Mario Party. So everyone's got to dress up as the characters. You know, everyone's got like the board itself has to look like it. When you roll the dice, it's got to be like a giant dice that looks like a Mario Party dice. It can't be like a normal dice.
I look forward to these videos. They sound so cool.
Everyone says that, yeah.
I can actually understand them. It's not like COD all over again.
Yeah, I mean, don't worry. I'll be making a lot of Call of Duty like in real life stuff. Don't worry. I got like a whole idea for search and destroy on the Nuketown map. But the map that I'm trying to go to for Nuketown, they're asking for like $15,000 to rent for the day, and I'm like, I can't do that. Not yet. Down the road, I will be able to, but not right now. I don't have the budget to do that.
So what does a day in your life look like when you're filming content?
So every day is the same. Like I don't get a day off. I'm just always doing content. It depends on the day. I do try to post every 2 or 3 days. So like let's say if I post a short today, then my next short would be I skip tomorrow and then I post the next day. And then after that, I skip 2 days and then post the next day. And then I skip. So I do like a skip, like 1 day skip and then post, 2 day skip, then post. And so usually like pretend today, let's say if I have to post a video tomorrow, I record tonight and then I edit tomorrow and post tomorrow. And then the days that I'm not doing a skit are the days I'm working on my gaming channel. So like yesterday, I recorded a video for the gaming channel, was just only recording. And then the next day that I get, which would be like Friday, is the next one of those 2 days in between, you know, the 2 days in between. That's when I'll do the thumbnail for that video and then review my editor's, you know, whatever he edited. Which takes like, thumbnail takes like 2 hours. The review, his stuff takes like 1 to 2 hours. So that whole day would just be dedicated to that, but it's like a half day. But yeah, pretty much day of the life of me, it's pretty simple. During the summer, I would wake up, I go sit in the sun for a bit, just like kind of relax. Then like just take my shower and stuff. And usually, since I got longer hair, it takes me a while for my hair to dry. And I need it to dry a certain way because my hair is usually really curly, like it's all over the place. So I can't like blow dry it. I have to like naturally let it dry. That's by that time that's when I'm like just playing games or I'm writing scripts. And then once I'm ready, like usually it's around before dinner time or a couple hours after dinner time, I'll do my recording. Usually my schedule is like I would start working at like 8 p.m. And then I'd get done around like 4 a.m. Like that's my schedule.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm a night person. But that's also it has to do with energy levels. So like my energy level peaks 2 hours after dinner or right before dinner. So if I eat dinner, then I'm like, you get that like you get groggy or you get like food coma and stuff. Like I tend to avoid recording right after that. And then my peak energy level, like I said, 8 o'clock. So that's when I can record stuff. And so, yeah, that's why I work at night. And then on top of that, a lot of YouTubers I've met a lot of YouTubers. We've all talked about this. And working with artificial lighting versus natural lighting. When you're working at night, it's only artificial lighting and it's super easy.
Do you record yourself or do you have videographers?
I just have my camera on a tripod.
Oh,
yeah, I don't have
okay.
any cameramen.
Oh.
That will change though. When I get into the big content, I will have cameramen.
So I was like, do you have people working at like 1 o'clock in the morning getting like these videos done?
No, yeah, and that's gonna have to change at some point when I do start hiring. Like I know the Angry Birds video, the recording date is not this Saturday, but the next Saturday is when we're actually recording. And that's gonna be during the middle of the day. So we're gonna meet up at 11 o'clock at a park, and we're gonna try to finish before 4 o'clock. So when I get into that kind of content, I'm gonna make sure that it won't be in the middle of the night. It kind of works out because my editor is in Europe, like he's really far away. So by the time I'm going to sleep, he's waking up. No matter what time of day it is, there's always someone working on my content, which is perfect.
And is there some improv, some scripting, or
It's all scripted.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's been a time when I was doing TikTok. I did a couple videos where it was scripted, and then I got out of like scripting and I just did it all in my head. Once my videos started to get a little bit, I guess a little bit like more professional, higher quality and stuff, I had to start writing it down because I started to forget what I was going to do. And the biggest reason why I write it down is because I want to know what a character says before the line that I'm saying. So I know how to react to that line. And then on top of that, like where to look and like reaction and everything.
Do you take a lot of takes when you film?
It's never one or two. It can be one or two. And it should be, but a lot of YouTubers are the same way. Like we're all perfectionists. And so when I record, I have this like weird rule, kind of like this like perfectionism in me where this rule that I have, and I don't even like, it's kind of like just an unwritten rule that I just do on like without me knowing it, just I accidentally do it. But when I record a line, I have to say it right and perfect. And so when I say perfect, I'm not saying the way I say it. It's like body language, how clear it sounds, and then the way I emphasize words. So it's like everything, the way I say it, what I say, how I say it, and then like my body language, my facial expressions, and everything. I have to do it perfectly 3 times in a row for it to feel right. And so a lot of times I'll do it twice in a row and it's good. Then the third one I mess up and I'm like, okay, I got to restart, and I do it 3 times in a row again. So something like a 10-word line, probably more than that, like 15-word line, it could take me up to like just 15 minutes just to record that one line. But it's also a good habit to have because a lot of times if I record something, sometimes the camera gets unfocused and you don't want that one time to be good and it's unfocused. And then if I'm editing the next day, then I realize like, oh, I have to wait till nighttime to record it. Like I can't re-record it. So I try to make sure it's all ready to go for tomorrow for my editing. So there's no focus problems. There's no like weird background noise that accidentally happens that I don't notice. Or like sometimes I'll say it multiple different ways and I pick the one that sounds the best way.
You see the videos, you watch them, but it's just like getting to know the behind the scenes and like what goes into making the videos. It's so interesting.
It's really fun. Like that's people don't realize like how much work gets put into a YouTube video. Like they think they see a 30-second video and they're like, oh, it probably only took him like 15 minutes to make. Like one short can take me like we're talking just like a 30-second short. I can do it for it can take me like 3 hours just to record it. Like 1 hour to write the script, 3 hours to record, and probably like 4 to 5 hours just to edit.
Wow.
So I mean that's like all together it could be like 8-9 hours, like 10 hours just to make one short. For the script, there's a lot of thinking. There's a lot of like perfectionism with the acting, the camera work, and it's not even just like setting up a camera and acting. It's really tough. Like every time I have to shoot a new shot, I have to move the camera, reposition it, and then I have to reposition all the lights too, because lighting is very key. So I'm constantly moving lights and cameras around, and that itself could just take me like 15 minutes just to reposition the camera into the right spot with the right lighting. And it's stuff you have to think about too when you're writing the script. You have to also think about where's the camera going to be when I'm writing the script. Like how is the camera angles going to look? And it gets more confusing with green screen because green screen, it's like you don't have like a sense of direction of where to look. Like you you kind of have to like envision where you're looking, like envision yourself in the scene, even though there's green screen. So green screen can get even more complicated writing the script.
You wear a lot of like Hollister shirts in your videos. Is that like your favorite clothing brand?
Yeah, kind of. Well, actually, I like Express more, but we just have more Hollisters in the area, and their shirts really fit me. Like, well, I don't like their pants. I just like their shirts. So
You have your main channel and you have your gaming channel. Is it difficult managing content for two channels?
yeah, it's that's why I work a lot because dealing with both channels, it's a lot of work for both channels.
Mhm.
There was a time when I was just doing the gaming, or like when I stopped doing engineering work and then I just got into YouTube and I didn't have the gaming channel. The main channel was like too easy. Like I felt like I wasn't working enough and I felt bad because I was like, I'm making good money only working like 20 hours a week. I'm like, I need to get into something else. So that's kind of why I did it. And honestly, I spend like probably a little bit more time on the gaming channel. It depends on the week. Sometimes I'll spend like very, very little bit on the gaming channel, but some weeks I'll spend a lot more on the gaming channel than the main channel. But that's why it's a lot of work because like at any point one channel could be overbearing over the other one and I still have to keep up with both of them. Luckily my editor, he does like all of my gaming videos now. So I don't have to really edit any of my gaming stuff. I just have to record. And as long as it's like an easy recording, sometimes I'll do these challenges that take forever to record. But if it's an easy one, like the one I recorded yesterday, which is like I played a new game that I've never played before, and I don't have to do any challenge. I just play the game and I just play for like a couple hours and that's it, and then send it to my editor. So luckily I have a lot of help now. But back when I was doing everything myself, it was too much. Like I was losing sleep over it. That's why I hired an editor. You get to the point where your time is more valuable than money. I at this point, like, I don't want more money in my life. I just want more time in my life. So
You got banned from COD. Tell me about that.
yeah, so it was kind of like nerve-wracking at first because I recorded a video and right when I finished recording the video, I noticed there's like an error that popped up on my screen. And I thought nothing of it until the next week when I started recording the next video. I get into the game and it says like user cannot connect. So I looked it up online and a lot of people were saying that's like, indication that you're banned. So I Googled, all right, I went onto the Activision website, looked up my account and it said like I'm permanently banned. And it was like the most weirdest thing because I'm like, I don't cheat. Like that video that I recorded, like you can literally see in the video that like I didn't cheat. And I was like, I don't know what happened. Like I was just banned or something. So for a while I just thought like I'm not giving up on the gaming channel, but I'm giving up on like Call of Duty content because I don't have to go through re-unlocking everything. Like I have to spend like 100 hours just re-unlocking everything, all camos, all the attachments again. And I'm like, it's not worth my time. I had a friend who was in contact with a Microsoft employee, and I got in contact with him and I told him, hey, I'm banned. I don't know why. Like, can you help me out with it? And so he reached out to his team and they said that they couldn't, like, there was no ban on my account. They looked it up and they said, under their system, there's no ban. So they're like, no one knew what was happening. And like I was checking every day. I didn't know what I was banned. Like it never said I was banned. Like the website said I was using like software, like cheating, like hacking and stuff. And I'm like, I never did that. And then their on their end they said there's nothing. So we were trying to figure out what was going on. And it was about like a week later, Call of Duty rolled out an update. And once I installed the update, I mean, I was still banned after the update, but they requested that I put in like my phone number for like two-factor authentication. And once I put in my phone number, the ban went away. It was the weirdest thing ever. And I told that to the Microsoft guy actually just this weekend. I told him like, the reason like it cleared up once I put in my phone number. He's like, that's the weirdest thing. That should not have happened, but it worked. So I was unbanned because of like that. So part of me thinks that it could be because it probably thought like one of two things. It thought that someone else got into my account and was using my account like without my permission, which is understandable because I use two different PCs, and it was probably thinking that I was account sharing between two computers because I was like I record on one. I have like my one PC I just use for only my gaming videos. Then my other PC I use when I'm like playing with friends and I'm not recording anything. So I'm constantly going back and forth between each one. Like every day I'm like going back and forth. And so it probably thought I was sharing the account. And once I put in the two-factor authentication, it pretty much solidified that like, that PC that I authenticated was fine. So I deleted Call of Duty off my other PC. Now I only use one for it. Just in case.
Were you so relieved when it worked?
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, one, I was relieved because I was worried that like I maybe had some sort of software in my computer that was causing it to get banned. Like I thought like my computer I didn't just think that I got banned from Call of Duty. I thought someone like hacked into my computer. I thought I downloaded like some software that like corrupt I thought I had like a corrupted PC, and I got a very expensive PC, so I thought it was corrupted or something was not right. So I'm like, that could have been a reason why they thought I was cheating. But I was so relieved to see that I was unbanned because one, like obviously I can get back into the content, but two, it had nothing to do with my computer or any software that I had. So I was really relieved for like both of those things. And then it was also good to get unbanned because a lot of I had a few friends that actually thought like, because I'm not like great at the game, but I am really good at the game. And I had a lot of friends that thought like, Greg, I told you you're cheating. Like you definitely are cheating if you got banned. So it was nice to tell them like, hey, I'm not banned anymore. It was actually a mistake. So like I wasn't actually cheating. So it was nice to prove them wrong.
Why is your gamer tag CheezGreg?
Yeah, it's just it's carried over from my childhood. So when I was a little kid, one, I thought it was cool when I was I don't know, 10-year-old kid. But I also like Cheez-Its, like the snacks, and they spell it with a Z. So I'm like, hey, what about instead Cheez-Its? It's CheezGreg. So I don't know why I did that, but I was, like I said, I was in middle school. I started my first gamer tag, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, and I just carried that over. It never changed.
Do you still like Cheez-Its?
Oh, I love Cheez-Its, but I avoid it because like they're addicting to me, so I never buy them.
What's your all-time favorite video game?
Yeah, that's a good question. I gotten that asked a lot. All-time favorite, Metroid Prime. I grew up with that game. It probably took me like 5-6 years to finally beat it when I had it as a kid. Because back then there's no YouTube videos to watch how to beat a game, and like the internet was like, I was too young of a person to like get on a computer, log into the internet, do all that stuff. So like there's no way to look up a guide on how to beat the game. You just had to figure it out. So it took me like 5-6 years to finally beat it. But the game was super rewarding to beat. So that's why I enjoyed it that much. And yeah, no, it's just a very well-made game.
You were an engineer, right? For some time?
Yeah, like 2 years, I would say. I was a full-time engineer. I went to school for mechanical engineering. I studied at Penn State. I did 4.5 years. And then after that, I went right into working a job at an aerospace company. Or it's kind of like a defense company, but they also did some aerospace. And I did a lot of like satellites. So I did like thermal engineering for satellites. And it was a cool job. And I did some cool projects, but it wasn't necessarily the work that I did enjoy. I think it was more of the how large scale of a company that I worked at in the corporate life that I didn't like. And also, I just realized like I was really good in college for engineering. Like I understood everything. Like I was a really good test taker. Kind of cheated the system because like I knew how to like I knew how to pass an exam. I didn't know how to actually like understand the material. You know, it was very weird. Like beating an exam is like for me like beating a level in a video game. Like I was so good at just like knowing the ins and outs of like prepping for an exam rather than just like learning the material. So I was really good in college. Like I was like I was like a straight A student in college. There was even like I think it was like one class. It was like my only electrical engineering class. But I remember the professor told me I was the only person he's ever had that got 100% on every exam. Even after like that's even before the curve. Every exam got curved by like 20%, and I got 100% on every exam without the curve. And yeah, he said I was like skewing the average in the class, and no one liked me because of it. But no, I was really good at what I did in school. I went into work as an engineer, and things just felt so foreign to me. I did not understand it, and it was so different. I didn't like it. Like it was the software that we're using, the computer software I didn't like. It's like a different level of like problem solving than like problem solving like equations. It was different. It was very different. So it just didn't mesh with me. And like I said, it's most of it comes from the large corporation that I worked for. When I used to intern for them. When I interned for them for those 2 summers, they used to be a different company and they were much smaller. And when it was at that point, like I felt like you had more of a voice. You know, you have a lot easier connection to the top. So like I can talk to someone who's like higher up and I can give them like suggestions or like recommendations, or I can, you know, my voice is heard there. But then right when I graduated, they got acquired by a Fortune 500 company. Like, and we're talking not even just Fortune 500. We're talking about a company that's like top 50 in the world kind of company, like a huge company. And once they bought them out, the company that I originally worked for, they fell down. So like the CEO of the company I used to work for, instead of being the number 1 spot, or like some people that I talked to that I knew were the number 2, like ranked 2 on the corporate ladder, they went from 2 to like all the way down to like 7. You know, like you lost your voice, even they lost their voice. Like, you know, we couldn't control the projects that we were working on. It just felt so corporate, and it wasn't for me. And so while I was an engineer, I spent so much time on my free time looking for ways to get out of it. You know, I got into like investing. I even got into like real estate, like looking into getting like a real estate license and everything. I got into game development. I was teaching myself how to code, how to make my own game, and I actually got pretty far. And then animation that was involved with the coding. I was getting into animation. I got into like try to animate for YouTube channel. And then it got to the point where I tried out a YouTube channel, and then that worked. So I did a lot of things before YouTube. You know, before YouTube was successful, I probably did like 6 or 7 things to be successful before YouTube, because I tried so hard to like, my biggest thing was I've always wanted to be my own boss, and I worked so hard to get to that point, and YouTube just worked out for me, and I finally found that thing, and then I just kept going with it.
What piqued your interest into studying
Space. I've always,
Oh.
I love space. Like anything has to do with like space stuff, like physics and the science behind it. Like I love that stuff. The stuff that I don't like is little tedious things like how to create a motor for like a thing that can go into space. You know, and that's the kind of stuff that I was doing. I was like doing the thermal engineering, so I didn't like, you know, designing heaters, designing blankets and stuff. I'm like, that wasn't for me. Like I didn't like the tech side of it. You know, engineering is a lot of like tech side of the science. You know, tech programming, material science. Like I didn't like that stuff. I like the physics behind space. So I look back at it and I'm like, I should have went to be like a physicist, or like got a master's in like physics or something, or at least get my bachelor's in physics. Because that's the kind of stuff that I'm into, like understanding the universe, not just understanding how a robot works in space. You know, that's what engineering is, and that's why, you know, I thought it would, you know, being an engineer was like the right thing to do, but yeah, it just didn't work out that way.
Greg has one of the coolest like YouTuber backstories because like you didn't expect a YouTuber to like have a whole career as an engineer.
Yeah, actually, you'd be shocked, but there are a lot of like people that tried out engineering, or at least like they went to college for engineering, dropped out, or they went to work as an engineer and they left went for YouTube. That's kind of the similarities between like engineering and YouTube, is that YouTube does have like engineering, like there's a lot of understanding work ethic, and in college it's like it's a very hard degree. That's the thing. Trying to be a good student, like you have to be your own boss, you have to like manage time and everything, and be also good with a computer and computer software. So a lot of people go from that to YouTube, and they find that transition pretty easy because they can understand how to edit, how to Photoshop, like how to pick up a new software, no problem. That's a kind of like thought process that a lot of engineers have. They're not just good at like being an engineer. They're good at learning new things. That's what an engineer has. Like that's what we go to school for. We go to school to like change our way of thinking. Like a good engineer can really do anything with their career. They just have to. I mean, they have to learn how to do something, but they have the chance to learn anything on the fly. So that's why engineers do make good YouTubers, because YouTube is that kind of, career path that, you do have to learn everything on the fly, and, we are good at that.
If there's any high schoolers watching and you're wondering what you should major in college, maybe engineering.
If you can graduate as engineer, you get a good job and everything, and it's a good career path. If you want to be a YouTuber specifically, I would not tell someone to go for engineering. I'm just saying that engineering is not a bad degree to go for no matter what you want to do. But if you want to be a YouTuber, usually like going to school for film is the best thing to do, to learn how to edit, learn how to Photoshop, learn how to work with cameras, and take a lot of courses with like creativity too. So like take a lot of writing courses is a very good idea. Something to like spark creativity. And that's another thing engineers have is creativity. You don't think about it because all we do is deal with math, but our problem solving skills require us to be creative to solve problems. So, as an engineer, let's say if you run into a problem, an example, like my PC gets too hot, how do I cool it down? An engineer will think of a million different ways how to cool down my PC, like the non-traditional way. Like the traditional way is to have a fan blowing on the PC. That's a traditional way, but an engineer can come up with a million different ways how to solve that problem. And that creativity helps us a lot with being able to make videos, because we think differently, how to solve a problem. So, but definitely like if you're going to school for to learn how to make videos, definitely take a lot of creative courses where you can learn how to be a creative person and change your thought process or business. People don't talk about it enough as a YouTuber, but I do a lot more business stuff than what people think I do. It's also like how you treat college. You don't just go there to like get a degree. Like the whole point of going to school, and it's also not learning the material, because most of the time you're not using that material in your job. Mm-hmm. It's like changing the way you think. Only something like college will do that. Me and my dad always talk about it because my dad paid for my college, and I always say like, what if I just didn't go to school? Like, I could have just been a YouTuber right out of the gate. And me and my dad both agree that if I graduated high school and got right into YouTube, like, I would not have been able to do it because, one, I also didn't know how to make a good video. Like, I just had no way of doing it. And I could have tried to learn, but I also didn't have the social skills either. I was a lot different back in high school to, like, after college. I've changed a lot in college. How to like work with other people, talk to other people. So that's the kind of stuff you get out of college, is like you feel like during the ages of like 18 to like 22 when you're in college, those are like a very crucial time of your life where you start to notice yourself changing, like mentally, and it's best to change positively. Like if you're gonna be changing during those times, like you might as well fill yourself with like important knowledge, or like try to change your brain to think, like, to work better. So that's what college does. It kind of like it's like a huge brain training exercise that you have to like prepare you for the real world. And a lot of people go to college not realizing that, and they don't take advantage of that. And I can understand why someone wouldn't want to go to college because one, debt. You know, I can agree that there are some degrees that are not worth the money. You know, at that point, don't go to university. Just go to like a local community college, save some money, and just at least like try to learn, you know? It's like the same thing as going to like the gym and working out. There's no one ever saying don't go to the gym and you'll get stronger. Like you have to go to the gym to get stronger. That's what college does. It's like a gym for your brain. Like you make your brain stronger just going to college. And that's like the importance of college. And a lot of people go to college not thinking that, and they just like, I just want the piece of paper. I'm just going to just try to breeze through it and not work at it. And it's like the same thing if you go to a gym, like if you just try to like casually work out and not actually try to like strengthen your muscles, you're not going to get bigger. And it's the same thing with your brain. Your brain's not going to get stronger if you don't actually exercise it. And college is the best way to exercise your brain. So like your brain will be ready for anything in the world. It like prepares you for the real world. And so I can understand it being, I disagree college is so expensive, but college is important. You know, even if you're going for YouTube or whatever, like anything's important. It's definitely good to go to college.
13 million subscribers on your main channel, which is amazing. What do you think the main thing is that sets you apart from other YouTubers?
Probably just the creativity. Like a lot of my skits are like very, like I do a lot of them. But I have like, they're all very different from each other. As long as it's not a series of videos, like Call of Duty customization, they're always the same one. Like it's 50 of them the same, but the Call of Duty customization videos are very different than, let's say, the skit I posted yesterday. So I have a very big variety of videos. But one thing I noticed with YouTube that like really worked for me was, and I noticed that like a lot of other YouTubers, like they try to do the opposite and it doesn't work for them. But the main thing is like once I embraced gaming, it worked out better for me. Once I said I'm gonna dive all into gaming content, instead of trying to do a variety of everything, because now like I'm really, you know, what's the word? Like I guess I've really connected with a specific group of people on YouTube, like gamers, and it's not just gamers like my content. You don't want to have like gamers and let's say non-gamers like my content. I picked one of those audience groups and I try to get them to love my content. So gamers like, gamers absolutely love my content, whereas non-gamers might not like my content, but that's okay because I'd rather have a smaller group of people fully invested in my content than like everyone like kind of half care about my content. Because the ones that are subscribing are the ones that like really care about you and your content. So, I mean, that's probably like the thing that separates me apart is that like I've fully embraced it. And I have catered to a very specific audience that very much enjoys my content. And I just try to be the best at that sort. I try to make the best content for that audience. So it's like the humor is unique. The creativeness is unique. That's what sets me apart. But when you ask most YouTube channels, like most YouTubers, the only thing that really separates you apart from like another channel is you. You know, that's why it's called YouTube. So, people can probably replicate my content, but they're not me, and they can't make it exactly the way I do it. You know? So the one thing, like, that's how every YouTuber is so unique is just them. And that's how you want to do it. You know, you don't want to make content that can be repeatable by other people. You want to make content that only you can make, and so they can only get it from you. And so that's what's unique. Is just I do it.
What has been one of your favorite memories so far as a YouTuber?
Well, honestly, this past weekend was definitely one of the top. Because I've always, I told you I went to like the Xbox Showcase. I've always wanted to go to one, whether there was Xbox Showcase or PlayStation State of Play or Nintendo Direct or E3. When I was a kid, I've always wanted to go to E3, but they don't exist anymore. But now, like, the Xbox Showcase was like, especially this year, I got invited. I met a lot of cool people. Like, I met Phil Spencer, who's the CEO of Xbox. Like, I met some crazy people out there, a lot of content, not a lot, but like a few content creators. And then the showcase itself was like probably the best showcase I've ever seen in my life. Like, you know, whether it was on TV or not, or like if even if I wasn't there in person, the games lineup or everything they showed was so phenomenal. Like I was like freaking out. Like I was geeking out over every video game trailer they were showing. Like it was insane. Like their lineup of games, it was literally the most insane lineup of games I've ever seen in my life. So that alone like made it very memorable. But like that whole weekend, like there's a lot to remember. But besides that, I honestly don't even know. Like, I mean, obviously quitting my job, becoming a YouTuber full time for the first time was still, I remember to this day, it was on my birthday on a Friday. I called up my boss and I told him like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. And I told him that I had a side thing that was going on and, you know, I had to give that a shot and quit engineering. And he actually said he knew about it. Like, he's like, yeah, I think I know a thing or two about what's going on. Because word got around in the office that I was a YouTuber. So people found out about it and I didn't know until I quit. But quitting was one of the best days of my life as a YouTuber because, you know, you become full time and it's a good feeling, you know, telling your boss to like, you know, I didn't tell him to go shove it, but it's kind of feeling like that, like, hey, you know, I'm out of here. I'm done. You know, it feels really good to finally take control of your life. But I don't know, YouTube itself is like, it's always been like a very good job. It's very hard work. I work a lot of hours and I'm constantly working and tedious work and sometimes it's not fun, but the best part about it is like being your own boss, and that's like what I love about it. You know, you have like full freedom to do whatever you want whenever you want it. I can just not work today, take a day off, or I can work extra hard today, or I can wait till nighttime to work, or I work in the morning. That freedom is like the best part about the job.
What's the best piece of life advice you can give someone?
Treat your brain like it's like a muscle, you know, like train your brain. Like that's like probably the most important thing to do because even if you don't want to get into YouTube, you know, a well-trained mind and a very healthy brain can really do anything they want in the world. Also, you know, it sounds cliche and, you know, typical, but like, you know, follow your dreams, follow your passion. You know, but don't follow your passion, your dreams with like with tunnel vision, you know, like have a plan and think it through, but definitely follow your passion because, you know, your hard work and especially your hard work, you know, you don't just follow your passion, be lazy about it. Follow your passion with like a lot of excitement and enthusiasm because that hard work that you have to something that you thoroughly love will come with a reward. You know, YouTube for me, I never thought it was, you know, was going to be possible, but with YouTube for me, if you know how to do it right, you strategize, you plan it out, you work really hard, you will make it a full-time job, you know? You know, I'm not saying like a lot of money because that's not the important part about it. It's just being able to do what you want, and sustaining your life doing what you want. Especially if you want to be a YouTuber, don't do it to chase the fame or the money. Those are not the two reasons. You know, there's an extent where like even if I wasn't as big as I am today and making as much money as I am today, like I would still be doing YouTube. As long as it supported me, I would still be doing it. Like even if it only made me like half as my engineering salary, as long as I can afford a place to rent and food for myself, I would still be doing YouTube because it's just the thing that I want to do. I'd rather spend 40 hours a week doing something I like than spend 40 hours a week not doing something I like and then having a little bit extra money. It's not worth it.
Make sure to like this video and subscribe to me if you want to see more interviews like this one.
And guys, if you do want to check out my channel, be sure to check out Gregrenko on YouTube and then subscribe.